What do you do when you don't feel God's presence like how you used to? Let me give you a story. 1 Kings, Elijah, when he was with the Baal prophets on Mount Carmel, what happened? God came like a fire. He showed himself in a fire. Now, right after that, Jezebel came, threatened to kill him. He ran away, got into the wilderness. Then what? He kept seeking. He kept pressing in. The angel came. He was under that tree, and the angel said, "Hey, arise and eat, for the journey ahead of you is great." God just proclaimed victory. They slayed the Baal prophets at Mount Carmel in one season. Jezebel comes in and starts threatening him, and then he's in this depression where he's like suicidal. He's telling the Lord to take his life, right? So what happens right after that? He keeps going. The angel of the Lord is lifting him up. He keeps going, and then what happens? He goes in, he sees an earthquake. God's not in the earthquake, right? Wind, God's not in the wind. Fire, God's not in the fire. The question right here we're asking is, what do you do when you don't feel God's presence like how you used to? I'm going to give you guys a different perspective. He searched the earthquake. God wasn't in the earthquake. Wind, God wasn't in the wind. Fire, God wasn't in the fire. Now, Elijah would have been like, Lord, you just came like fire from heaven in one moment right there when I won, when I had victory. I saw your presence. I saw the manifested presence and glory of God, right? Why aren't you here? He could have stopped. No, but he kept pressing in, and he kept going, and he kept going. And then what happened? A still small voice. My perspective on what happens when you don't feel God's presence, I think sometimes we have this thought that God's presence has to happen a certain way and I have to feel it a certain way. Not saying that God changes, but it's our revelation, our perspective on how God manifests and shows himself. That's what changes through us. It's not that God is changing. It's what changes on how we see God. So sometimes we just got to humble ourselves and say, God, I trust in you. You have to really put your trust and faith in the Lord when he does reveal himself, because he can reveal himself not just through fire, but through a still small voice. So he reveals himself different. I just can't have, I guess the teaching is I need to break the expectation of what I think God can do versus let God be God and let him do it. And God, I just receive it. Lead not on my own understanding, lead not on my own opinions, but trust in the Lord with all my heart. And I lean not on it. In all my ways, I acknowledge God. In every way, I must acknowledge God, and he will direct my path. Okay? God bless you all. Praise God.